We
had it all. Here we go.
Bertie Higgins, everybody. Bertie Higgins.
That's the one. All right, here we go. In 3, 2, 1.
Did Taylor Swift actually predict COVID 3 years before it happened? No, she did not.
I hope every one of you get uncontrollable explosive diarrhea.
The morning stream. The morning stream.
Americans can be very useful. This is the morning stream.
The morning stream.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to TMS. As the song indicates, this is the morning stream for Thursday, April 15th, 2021. I'm Scott Johnson. Brian Ibbett over there. Hello, Brian.
Hi there. How are you?
I'm all right. I'm a little tired. Slept like crap. It's really windy and high pressurey and strange right now in the weather, and I can't sleep when it's like that. So can't do it. Just tossed and turned all night. Leaned over. Oh, I did have a dream though, and I punched my Echo so hard, I don't think it works anymore. I think it broke.
No, really?
Yeah. Literally, I like rolled over and for some reason in this dream was swinging. I'm glad it was the other direction and not toward Kim because I was feel really
Kim.
bad.
Oh my God, no kidding.
But
you were protecting Kim from the Echo. Apparently.
Exactly right. So I full fist punched it's the original Echo, the tall one. And,
gotcha. Right. The big tall cylinder.
Yeah. And I whacked that.
That's got a good surface area for punching.
Oh, big time. So
way better than the little puck.
It goes flying across the room, and I haven't even unplugged. I haven't had a chance to plug it in and check it, but
wow.
Yeah, it may not work now. I don't know. I have no idea. I've had it since like day one, right? I think it was like a week 1 launch version of the Echo. It wouldn't be that big.
You're gonna walk into the room. Please don't hit me. Please don't hit me.
I promise I'll stay with you, but please don't hit me. Yeah, I don't want to create that kind of relationship with the A word.
It's telling Siri that it ran into a door.
Right? Yeah, on all the other. What's her name? Microsoft. What's her name on the Microsoft one? The Halo lady.
Oh, Cortana.
Cortana's like, I can get you out of there. I know people.
Right. Exactly. Tell me what's really going on.
Yeah. And by the way, this is not us making fun or light of domestic abuse.
No.
Okay. All right. I just want to clear that up before you get your little email hands all warmed up and your knuckles cracked. All right. Calm down, everybody. It's a little joke. All right. So I punched my Echo, and that's fine. But let me tell you what. The wind is kicking up all the dust, so I'm all stuffy and freaking, weird that way. I'm annoyed because I just found out some friends of mine up the street are taking some kind of Bahamas trip unvaccinated, and I'm just annoyed that people are like, we're going anyway, man, screw you, we baby. And I'm like, they also could have had the shots by now. They just aren't bothering to worry about it, so I'm annoyed with them.
Really?
Yeah.
Are they? But they're not anti. They just are lazy.
Yeah.
Kind of
Like
they'll get the vaccine, but they really don't care when they get it.
I think so. I don't know. They're just sort of me. The only good thing today was we went outside and Tesla Man waved at us. That's the only good news today. Tesla Man waved.
Tesla Man brightening your day. That seems like, what is this, upside down land?
I know. Superman is Bizarro Man now. We don't know what to do. But yeah.
Me like neighbor across street.
Yeah. He is good. My car run on electricity. So anyway, it's just a weird morning, a weird night, and I'm grumpy, but not for TMS. TMS cheers me up. I have a good time on here. So chat room, thank you for being a part of that and being here live with us today. We appreciate it. And everybody at home, you guys are great. You're pretty cool. Leninade, where'd you get that number? 50% of Republicans and 80% of Utahns won't vaccinate? That's not correct at all.
Is that really? I heard the only statistic I've heard about that is 1 out of 5 people across the country are refusing to get the vaccine.
Well, that I could see. That sounds about right. Yeah. But 80% of Utahns, I guess he's probably joking there. We're doing good here. We got like a high rate of overall vaccination completion stuff. And I forgot what the total adult fully vaccination rate was as of last week, but it was freaking high. So
as of April 14th, 30,000 vaccinations and no new COVID deaths in Utah. Very good.
That's very good, right? It's pretty good.
Yes.
For our little state. And then, as the Quantum Feline says, there was a poll this morning saying 43% of Republicans won't vaccinate. Is that true?
Wow.
Why? Why?
I mean, if it's 1 out of 5 Americans, you've got to figure it maybe skews one direction or the other, right? So,
I see what you're saying. Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah,
I don't want to blame it all on my former party, but they seem like they maybe are on the wrong side of history over there with their vaccination decisions, is my guess.
So, so I was looking up the numbers. I did see, but this is as of March. This is a month ago, and you guys probably have ramped up since then. Good reasons why Utah ranks last for percentage of fully vaccinated adults.
Oh, we're ranked last? Is that true?
You were in the beginning of March. Specifically, 6.1% of Utahns were fully vaccinated as of the beginning of March. However,
Boo.
I did see that number crank way up in the last, like in the more recent news articles.
Well, that's good that we're up. I thought we were all good on the stuff.
You also have a bunch of numbers like 30% of Utahns are younger than 18.
Oh, well, if that's skewing the data,
average,
we always have young kids. We're overloaded with kids here. That's our
that
deal.
Skews the numbers. That skews the numbers down.
Yeah, if that's what they're comparing it, or if those numbers are in the math, then that math is effed.
It's Fox 13, so it's
okay, our local Fox 13 affiliate.
Exactly.
Yeah,
yes.
they're not associated with the Fox people, but they're
no, not the Fox people.
They're also not the best local news either. They're okay. I haven't watched that stuff in a while, I shouldn't say, but
yeah.
Anyway, I'm I hope we keep going though. We got to keep them up. Keep them up, everybody. Get in there, get it done.
Yep, exactly. And don't go to the Bahamas until you get vaccinated. Come on, let's not spread this nonsense to other countries and islands, especially Bahamas, man.
Yeah, this lady and her new husband, they don't listen to this show, so it'll be okay. They're not gonna.
Okay, good. All right. Hey, you know what I did last night?
What'd you do?
Continuing on the preparing for the Oscar trail. One of my favorite things, and Tina's favorite things to do every year, is to watch all of the shorts. Watch the shorts.
Yeah, watch the shorts.
Eat my shorts. So like the live action shorts, the animated shorts, and the documentary shorts, because it's kind of like what we see sometimes with America's Next Top Podcaster, how when you're forced to tell your story in a more confined area, it concentrates all the really important parts and leaves out all the fluff and crap. Like, maybe Zack Snyder should have gone the other way with Justice League and made it a short.
Yeah.
Just saying.
I don't think you're wrong.
But so we started watching the live action shorts, and there are a couple already amazing ones. I should have looked these up to see if they're on.
I never look at those. I need to do that.
On YouTube.
I need to make.
They're really, really good.
And
for $30,
yeah.
If you've got an independent movie chain in your area, for $30, you can get a bundle that's got all the live action, animated, and documentary all in one. That'll watch. You can play it on your Chromecast, your Apple TV, your whatever.
Oh, that's cool. I want to watch that.
So we have Landmark. If you go to shorts.tv, you should be able to figure out like what you've got in your area. But it's it's for us. It's Landmark Movie Theaters. They're like a local independent movie chain, and so they're saying, yeah, we're showing it in our theaters, but if you want to buy it and watch it at home, $30 will give you the bundle of all 15 or 18, whatever it is.
It's true of animated shorts and all that too. Like I can get
all included in that bundle.
Oh my god!
So far we've only watched the live action ones, and like I said, there are some incredible ones. There is one I wanted to see the names. Let's see here. Okay. So Feeling Through, absolutely incredible.
Feeling Through.
Feeling Through.
Okay.
It's
is it like I'm feeling through with this? I'm through with it. I'm feeling through. Is that it?
Sort of. It's kind of a little play. Okay. A guy in New York late at night befriends a blind and deaf person.
Oh.
And helps him get where he's going.
Oh, that's cool. Oh, like feeling through. Okay.
Feeling through.
Got it.
But I mean, it means it's like one of these multiple meanings.
Sure.
Wide Eye, which is the Israeli submission, we didn't find as good, just didn't make any sense. Two Distant Strangers is like a Groundhog Day in a 25-minute short, and it's really good. And then The Present from Palestine was really good.
From who? Oh, Palestine.
Palestine.
Oh, Palestine. Steenstein, it's all the same.
Palestinians.
The
They were Palestinians from Palestine.
That's cool. Is it? That's got the subtitles. Yeah, I assume.
Yes, but very like the story's told without much dialogue, and it's about a father and his daughter who are crossing the border to go get some groceries and a present for his wife, and the troubles that they run into with Arab-only entrances and exits versus Palestinian entrances and exits.
Oh, interesting. Hard-hitting content then.
It is. It's really, really good. So those are 4 of the 5 live actions. We still have one left to watch, but so far these never disappoint. They're always like really, really good. Like I say, because they have to condense all of the important parts of the story into a 30-minute or less package.
I think there's so many people who just never get to see these because they just don't seek them out.
Yeah.
Like they hear about them at the awards, they know they exist, they just don't get it's almost like they're there but they're not there. So it's cool that there's a way to get those.
Yeah, totally. Trust me, folks. Seek them out. It's like watching 5 really good movies in the course of an hour and a half.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the way we want things in this world. Zach's opposite. It's the anti-Snyder cut, is what that is.
It is, exactly. And yeah, Anna Krakatoa, it's funny. Yeah, I've seen the trailer for Army of the Dead, and I'm laughing because
it looks so
I'll
good.
be in Vegas the day that comes out.
Oh, I love it.
So
I know.
I think we're going to download it and watch it. Or actually, we're currently. Should I say that what we're currently discussing?
I think it's okay. We are thinking about. It's not 100% solid yet, so don't 100% count on it. But we are thinking about sacking it just as like a brand new release on Film Sack. I think that would be fun.
Yeah, our first ever like sacking a week-old movie.
Yeah, I think the closest we got was probably Star Wars. What was the first JJ one? I forget the name of it now. Force Awakens.
Force Awakens?
I think we did Force Awakens like 2 weeks later or something. Didn't we do that?
I don't remember film sacking Force Awakens. Did we really?
I thought we did. Hold on. Am I thinking of this wrong? It really could be just my brain. Hold on. Force.
It was a spoiler episode. Is that what it was?
Yeah, there it is. Star Wars Episode 7. Our big spoiler episode of Episode 7 of Star Wars. Normal people call it Star Wars The Force Awakens. Monday, the 21st of December, 2015. So, like, what, 2 weeks after release? Yeah.
Yeah.
So this would be the closest we've done to that.
I guess, was it an actual film sack, or was it just the 4 of us? I mean, I guess it's always the 4 of us just yabbering on about crap.
Well, let's see. I'm going to hit play here. Let's see what it does. I got...
Because obviously we can't have clips, but we can still do...
as well.
Yeah.
2 movies.
Here it is. 2 movies, yeah. Well, you can do the little side stories, too. The Rogue One and the yeah, that's a regular episode. We didn't watch along or anything. We just did a full-on, like...
yeah, it's an hour and a half, or hour and 38 minutes.
We probably didn't... I didn't do clips, because this was a theater-only thing, so...
There was no way to do those, right?
Yeah, and it was only an hour and 30.
But imagine, we can still talk about Chicks in the Bucket. We can still talk about what gross got out the most.
Yep. 2015, baby. There was only one movie that mattered that year. We all know what it was.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
All right. That's awesome. Shorts, everybody get them. Get your shorts while they're
get the
available.
Shorts. Shorts.tv to find out where you can stream them in your area. And I think they will be on Amazon Prime for rental, or Apple TV Plus or whatever for rental pretty soon. So
gotcha.
Yeah.
Fantastic. All right. Well, guess what, everyone? It's time for a little bit of science in your diet. It's important.
Science!
I mean, we gave you a little science this morning about, we talked viruses and things like that, but we need more. And to do that, we play this.
I think science is cool.
Is it, though? Well, we'll find out today with our regular science expert guest man. Bobby Frankenberger, who's now off of vacation and home, finally in front of his real microphone. Although I think you just sort of took it with you, right? You sort of traveled with your stuff.
I brought another one. I have a problem where I buy lots of microphones.
Yeah.
So
Welcome
I just
to
had.
podcasting.
Yeah, exactly right.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just had another microphone. It's a nice. Anybody who wants to get a nice entry level USB microphone, it's a ATR 20. It's an Audio Technica 2100.
Oh, that's a good one, huh?
It was my first sort of real microphone, and it's great quality.
Yeah, you sounded great in the times I heard you while you were remote. The other. So it's weird. You either buy a lot of microphones when you're a podcaster, like I did early on, and then once you find one you love, you never buy another one.
Yeah, that's this one.
This Heil, which we all three of us have exactly the same one.
Yeah, these PR40s.
Why don't we all just start here, podcasters? By the way,
Yeah.
I figured out. Here's the secret to making money with your podcast: quit spending money on equipment for your podcast.
Yeah, that's not the important part. The important part is the content. The equipment will come later. But the
don't
PR40
you also feel
is so
that
rad. Yeah,
don't
go
you
ahead.
also feel that or find that the people who tell you to stop spending money on your podcast are people who have already spent money on their podcast?
Yeah,
So
totally.
yeah, it seems like advice that comes from experience and it's like wisdom, but they're also in a privileged position. You know?
Nobody look. The PR40s, these high-end microphones, which everyone I know uses. They're not cheap. This is like a $400 or something plus microphone, and you don't start. If you're gonna, I'm gonna podcast for fun, and I'm gonna go spend $500 on them. Nobody does that. So start small, work your way up.
Exactly.
It's fun.
That's true. Start with an SM58 and then go to the Heil.
Yeah. BioCow's throwing in a vote for Blue Snowball. He thinks that's a cool mic. It's all right. Does the job.
All right.
Gets it done.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't like the ball.
I don't mind the ball. I just don't like
ball.
that it seems to pick up a lot more room noise, even if you've got it set to
not
one of those condenser mics.
Yeah.
Singular directional. Yeah.
Over here, I got a blue microphone, but it's one of those. What's it called? Oh, I forgot the name.
A Yeti.
Yeti. Thank you. It's the Yeti style, but the World of Warcraft branded one. I use that exclusively on my PC now, and I really like that thing. So there's another one that's it's about $200, but it'll get a lot of stuff done that you're trying to do. Anyway,
cool.
well, now that we've had microphone
Is that
talk,
all science? That's not
that's
science,
it.
right?
That's it for
The stuff we're
science.
talking about?
Yeah, science is
There's
done.
science in there.
Science of sound. No, for real, we're going to talk about science, and we're going to talk about. Okay, so Brian, correct me if I'm wrong, but I swear we touched on this once as a news article way back. Not way back, but some time ago. We talked about a satellite that was made out of wood.
That's right.
And we were like,
we sang the Young MC song, I think, while we did it.
I think
too.
we might have. And we were like, hee, wood, it's a wood thing. And they were both wiener jokes and also just, ha, science, you have a wooden thing, how dumb. I guess we don't need metal anymore, ha. But we didn't look that deep. We just sort of did
It was
a
actually my
cursory
first
thing.
science, like official science segment on the show.
Oh, well, there.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
So are you providing us an update, or is this just
Sort
a
of.
rerun?
It's related.
Okay, let's find out more then from Booby Frankenbooger, who has come out of the show today to talk about it. Tell me more, and what is the latest regarding the wooden satellite and why it exists?
Yeah, Frankenbooger reporting. So yeah, the satellite story was back in the day was just a Japanese research company was working together with some wood provider over there to do some tests and plausibility studies and hopefully build a wooden satellite that would go into orbit. And I remember at the time having some skepticism about it, like, why is this really going to be? Because they were talking all about how it was going to reduce clutter in space, and I was very skeptical about that idea. But this is a little bit different. There's a wooden satellite that is going to be sent into orbit, hopefully by the end of this year, that was made by students in, I think, the Netherlands, working together with a plywood company called Wisa Plywood. And yeah, they're
Sounds like it's owned by Jar Jar Binks.
Yeah, I was gonna say Jar Jar Binks
plywood
concerned. We need some wood. Me supply wood.
Exactly.
Oh wait,
So,
they don't mean me supply wood, right?
No, it's WISA.
Okay.
WISA.
I thought it was like
No,
we.
but that is probably
supply
like an
wood.
intentional subliminal.
Well, it works even if it isn't.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
supply wood. Oh wow, clever.
Yeah. We
Yeah.
supply wood. All right.
So they the model that they're basing this on is it's a really small satellite. First of all, it's 10 centimeters cubed.
Hmm.
And it's based on a CubeSat model. Have you ever heard of CubeSats?
No, never in my life.
A CubeSat is this model for a satellite that is supposed to be incredibly scalable, very small, and a ton of the satellites that are being sent into orbit to provide internet, I think, are using the CubeSat model. And they're just very small, easy to put together, and you just light and you just throw them up there with like one or two little instruments in them that do a little thing that you want them to do. Maybe it's collect, data or take pictures or just send a signal or whatever. It's very small. You just throw something in there and then you shoot it up into space, and then it does what you need it to do. It's supposed to be the idea is for it to be really easy to do, and for companies and research institutions to be able to more easily access this type of capability. And that's what they're basing this on, this wooden satellite. They want to see if they can create it out of plywood and do it. And it's
so it's easy to see this sort of thing as like, how serious could they be? They're just doing an experiment, or this is just a fluke to get people focused on what work they're doing so they can get more funding, blah blah blah. But it sounds like they legit want to build a wooden satellite for actual reasons, and this isn't just a fluke.
I don't know if it's for actual reasons. I actually suspect that it's just a sort of marketing ploy by the plywood company. They saw like, oh, there's some people that are making these and they're using our plywood to make it, because the CubeSat is what it is, but there are like other versions of the CubeSat idea that get used, and this one that they used is called KitSat, and it's specifically an educational satellite build platform for students.
Right.
And so the KitSat is a CubeSat model, but the idea is that it's made with cheap, easy to obtain materials so students can just learn, and it's not actually intended to be put up in orbit. Any of the KitSats are not intended to be put in orbit, but it's like, if this were made out of space-ready materials, it could go into orbit. So it's a good educational tool. Like you're kind of building a real satellite. It's just that you're making it out of something that couldn't really go into orbit. Right.
What's going to happen is, if it did, aliens would find it, kind of Picard style, and go, Captain, the satellite appears to be made of wood, and they go to commercial. Right?
Yeah,
that's right. Yeah,
that's what this feels like. One of those episodes. By the way, I found out when we first talked about this, it was January 7th, a Thursday, of course, because that's when we started having you on. January 7th, 2021. Thanks to Bombats in the chat. By the way, you can search through the TMS archives like you can FilmSack. He's got this URL, tms.quicksack.ly. And it works just like FilmSack does. It's great.
I know. I do love the fact that QuickSack is kind of now the generic term, because he's doing it for soundography. I imagine I can probably get Coverville going with that.
It's pretty cool.
Does he have like show notes in or like notes about the episodes in a database or something?
Yeah, but it's all our dumb red titled show notes, so it's not like
okay.
But you can say, wooden satellites with Bobby, as long as that was the title.
Right.
As
Bobby's
long as
got
that was
wood.
the dumb thing that you guys said at the end of the show.
Yeah.
Right, exactly.
It's all cool. It's very cool. It just digs into the
That is
RSS
neat.
feed, and you can find stuff from all over the place. Like, let's see, I'd search for the word shit just to see if we ever put it in our notes. It's about 12 episodes where we swear in the notes.
Yeah,
and
that sounds about right.
Something like from episode 640, or no, 695, Tomorrowland Today. You go all the way back. 499 was called Nugget Fetish. Nugget Fetish. Anyway, you can also do that with FilmSack and everything else. So go check out that URL. It's tms.quicksack.ly. All right. Well, that's fantastic. Wooden things are great. We like wood. More wood is what we're saying.
And it's not like, you can't really biodegrade in space without any oxygen or.
That's what they always say. They always say.
They literally, this satellite is just going to go up with some antenna on it and an arm with a camera on it. It's going to take a selfie. It really feels just like there's probably going to be like burned into the side that the selfie can be. We'll say like, we supply wood.
Right. Yes.
I can't hear you say that without thinking Jar Jar Binks. Brian killed it and destroyed it.
Yeah.
One thing that they are doing that apparently that does sound actually pretty neat is that they're going to be broadcasting on an amateur radio channels for satellite communication. They're sort of testing and demonstrating the accessibility of radio amateur satellite communication on low power receivers dedicated to amateur radio. So it will sort of test out, if it gets up there successfully, it will sort of test out that ability, which could be another way to really just be opening up satellite science, this kind of stuff, which sound, on the one hand, that's exciting, but on the other hand, I kind of worry, what does it mean that we're going to just open up the ability for anybody to just
crowdsourcing, throwing junk in space. Fantastic.
Yeah. Let's fill it up. More junk, all the better. That way we get to Wall-E times where you got to push through a ton of it to get out.
Exactly.
Love that idea. All right. Well, Bobby, as always, great to get an update on this and to chat more. Anything else going on here? Let's talk about your show a little bit. Tell people where they can find it and get more science in their lives.
It's called All Around Science, is our weekly science podcast. Last week, the latest episode out there right now, we talked about ants and how ants can undergo some of the same effects that humans undergo when they are quarantined.
Oh.
They did a study on ants and isolated them and saw how it affected their tiny ant brains.
Do they get really conspiratorial and anti-vaxxy and stuff while they're all together, when they're all separated like that, or?
They all kind of form in the colony. All of these isolated ants come together and form a queue on the ground. They're not really sure what that means yet.
A great big queue made of ants. I love it.
Yeah.
Do they move? Can they move as a unison, like one big queue moving around the thing? That'd be cool.
Yeah. And then there's 17 of them.
All right. I'm in. Oh, 17 is the 17th letter. Oh my gosh, we've cracked the code. Trust in the plan, you guys. Trust in the plan. All right, Bobby.
We're recording one more. I wanted to mention on Monday you should check out the episode, because right now there's a lot of talk in the news this week about the Johnson & Johnson vaccine being sort of paused.
Yeah.
The CDC and FDA recommended that, and then everybody went ahead and paused it. And we're going to be talking a lot in our recording tonight on the episode that'll come out on Monday about that and what that means, whether it's a good idea. I have thoughts about that. Whether they should have done that, and I think this we're getting to a troubling place in public communication about these vaccines in a time when we really need to be getting people vaccinated as quickly as possible, because we're trying to outrun and beat these variants that are catching up with us.
Well, not only that, but there's this tendency. I mean, there's so many things in that are happening in combination here, right? Like, you've got unprecedented speed getting these to people's arms.
Yeah.
And what comes with that is hopefully a lot of efficiency and transparency, but you can't avoid problems, mistakes, roadblocks, and issues, because that's just the nature of something this big on this level of rollout. And so I'm not surprised that stuff like this comes up. The AstraZeneca thing had a similar pause somewhere in Europe because of issues that were similar to this.
Yeah, we'll be talking about that too.
But then there's the whole, somebody shared the comparison yesterday that regular old standard birth control pills increase women's chances of blood clots by some horrific percentage and always have. And no one cares about that. So there's also this public perception thing of blood clots, they're going to kill us all. Even though you're right, and you're thinking that as you're taking this pill you've been taking for 30 years, that increases your chance for blood clots way more than the Johnson & Johnson vaccine would. So it's like this just crazy confluence of information, misinformation, confusion, rapid release, and then everybody freaking out, and it's a weird time, baby.
It's a really nuanced, tricky conversation to have too, because it is important what's happening and the results of these and everything, but that's what we'll be talking about. So if you're interested in that, check out the show this coming Monday. It'll be out. That's All Around Science. It's just get it. It's the name of the podcast. You can find it, or just go to allaroundscience.com.
Get it wherever you get it, everybody. Bobby Frankenberger. We'll see you next time.
Thank you.
Bye now.
Bye.
Bye, Bobby. All right, Bobby has left the building. Boy, that
Bobby has left the building.
The quick sack tab is a memory hog. I gotta close that. Ooh, look at my memory.
Yeah.
Look at my RAM.
Look at it go and watch it drop again. Whoa.
All right, let's be done with that. We are done with that. Let's move on to this. Time for the news, brought to you by.
By the way, did you notice today's episode number is 2099? That's awesome.
Yeah, we're almost,
it's like if we were a Marvel series, we would have come up with one good character and a bunch of really crappy ones.
Nice.
That's how awesome this is.
We're not going to have any zeros for a while, by the way. Think of this. We're not going to have any... no, how does that work? Yeah, not until 3,000.
We'll have zeros tomorrow with 2,100.
Oh, yeah. We'll have zeros at the end of the number. Right. Just that first number. Okay, anyway.
Right. Yeah, the second number won't be a zero for a long time. All right. So coming up today on Coverville, it's Roy Orbison. He would have been celebrating his birthday next week. Would have been 85, Roy Orbison. So grab your pretty woman and ooby-dooby yourself down to Coverville, Coverville.tv or Twitch TV/Coverville. And here's some covers of and by Roy Orbison. You're going to hear stuff that you maybe have never heard by folks like Los Straitjackets, The Flanders, Morrissey, and Hootie and the Blowfish, just to name a few.
It's not just be Diamond Dave with his cover of Pretty Woman.
I'm not doing Pretty Woman by Van Halen. Okay. It's a great cover, but everybody's heard it. Maybe you haven't heard the one by Pomplamoose.
I have actually, and it's very good. I like that one.
It is very good, yeah.
Nice.
Anyway, so there you go. That's Coverville coming up at 1 p.m. Mountain Time today at coverville.tv or twitch.tv/Coverville.
I will admit, when I was younger, I used to think that anytime Roy Orbison showed up in something, like the Traveling Wilburys, for example.
Yeah.
It just felt like they were all bringing their grandma with them. Do you know what I mean?
It kind of did, right? Because, I mean, even George Harrison and Bob Dylan weren't the age of Roy Orbison, but
he also just kind of looked like a little Catwoman, just like a little. I don't mean Catwoman like Batman Catwoman. I mean like a cat lady. Like he just looked like a lady, had the big cataract glasses on, and then he'd sing Pretty Woman. And you're like, oh right, okay, that guy, that's him. We know him. He's cool.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep.
Just a weird.
Born in 1936, so 85 by my count. Am I doing that wrong?
Wait, he would have been 85 or died at 85?
Would have been. He died at the age of 52 in 1988.
Really? He was only 52?
I know. Yeah.
What? Okay, now
it didn't look like it, right? For someone who looked like the grandpa that they brought along to the Traveling Wilburys, he just always had kind of an old soul kind of look.
Guess he always did, even when he was a lot younger. But that's young to die.
It is.
That bums me out. Yeah, it would have been. My mom's 82, so yeah, he would have been just older than her.
I'm curious. Like Bob Dylan was 1937, 1938.
They're about the same age, right?
They're pretty close. Oh, 41. Okay, so Bob Dylan's going to be turning 80 in May.
What?
Yeah.
Wow. All right.
Yeah. So a couple grandpas. The Traveling Wilburys.
Times are a changing, as Bob Dylan might say.
They are. Yep.
So watch for that. All right. A man. There's a story about a man.
A man
Accidentally shot himself in the face. No, he didn't do that. He shoots himself, not in the face, while trying on a pair of pants at a Walmart dressing room.
Oh, well, as you do. Yeah.
Yeah. That's what you do.
Did this happen at my son's Walmart? I'm curious because it sounds like something that would happen at my son's Walmart.
Does he have stories a lot about weird things that happen there?
Yes. The most recent one?
Yeah.
This one cracks me up just visualizing it.
All right.
So they routinely go through, and when it's closing time, the closing crew comes in and they close all the doors. They go through all of the aisles, make sure nobody's in there. They go through all the bathrooms, etc. And one of the guys that works with Tristan looked under, went to the bathroom in the men's room, looked under all the stalls, saw the shoes and bottom of the pants that he thought belonged to one of the people he just let in, one of the closers,
right,
and didn't think about it. And turned out to be, a customer that just was stuck in the bathroom. But here's the best part. So as soon as they close the doors and start doing the closing, and Tristan's cleaning, doing his counting his till and all that stuff, making sure everything rings up, they turn on their music that they like to listen to while they're closing. And as soon as they do that, this guy comes out of the bathroom and just starts dancing in one of the aisles.
Whoa, really?
just like randomly dancing in one,
oh my gosh, that's great. Did we get any cameras out? Get the cameras out.
They didn't have cameras out. I'd be like, Tristan, can you please come back to the bathroom area by menswear, please, Tristan? Tristan escorted this guy out who was whatever he was on.
He was stoned or something?
Loving that music. And just visualizing. What I'm visualizing is the Fortnite dance. That's what I want it to be like.
Oh yeah, that one. I love the Fortnite dance. Hey, chat room, if somebody could give, I'll gift that if someone can clip Brian dancing. When he first danced there at the top of the story, or the mid part of the story, I would love that. Someone send that to me.
Sure.
That'd be great. Well, this guy, not at your son's Walmart.
Anyway, not at my son's Walmart.
No.
Okay. All right.
He was rushed to a hospital after police said he accidentally shot himself while trying on pants inside of a dressing room at the McMinnville Walmart.
McMinnville. Don't know where that is. I'm looking through the story and I'm not seeing it.
I don't see it either.
I'll look it up.
We have a hospital
you keep
name.
telling the story. I'll figure out where McMinnville is.
It says the shooting was reported Friday afternoon inside the store on North Chancery Street. There's another hint as to where it is.
Okay.
McMinnville police say the man had entered a fitting room to try on his pants, and his pistol fell out of his pocket, hitting the floor and discharged. It struck him in the leg. Oh, right next to his peen.
Tennessee, by the way.
Oh, it's Tennessee. All right.
Yeah, I'm seeing
McMinnville,
Oregon,
Tennessee.
Arkansas, just south of Portland. This one is McMinnville, Tennessee.
All right. The man was transported to Ascension St. Thomas River Park Hospital. They should shorten the name of their hospital. In McMinnville.
Yeah, they really should.
That's really long. With a bullet lodged in his leg. According to investigators, an update on his condition was not immediately provided. No other injuries reported inside of the store. The incident remains under investigation by the McMinnville Police Departamento. Oh, there's the
three people.
There's
Three people, by the way, with clips.
That's fantastic. You guys, Johnny
yes.
on the spot.
J.K.
here.
Grammer first, and then Bio Cow, and then Captain Kipper.
All right, what I got to do is, look at this. All right, I'm just going to quickly capture this because if I don't do it now, I'm going to forget. So hold on one second. I have a little process here.
Sure. Please
Takes me
do.
just a moment. This is a good GIF. You never let a good GIF go.
In the meantime, I'll tell the joke about, I feel like I'm dying. Can you please take me to Ascension St. Thomas River Park Hospital?
He can't get it out.
Yeah.
Where do we need to rush
Because he
this man?
died, see? It's taking so long to say the name of the hospital, see, that he died.
It's fantastic. All right, I think I got you in full rotation here. There we go. All right, we'll take care of that later. Thank you, everybody, for your participation. Brian is now immortalized in the dancing GIF once again.
Good. I'm sure that will only be used for good and not used for evil.
Never for evil.
Never.
Hey, there's one I pulled for you. The Who. Remember the band The Who?
I love the band The Who. Still love the band The Who.
Yeah, they're still together. They do the belly out at the...
That is their greatest hit.
Yeah. I like to see his...
On Scott's copy of The Who's Greatest Hits, the first thing is a picture looking up Pete Townshend's shirt and seeing his belly as he's doing the windmill.
Flopping around, waiting for a football to start up again. It was great.
That's right, exactly. Yes.
Well, anyway, they're reuniting with Heinz after 50 years. Heinz, like the ketchup people. catch up.
Yep, and the Beans people specifically.
And the Beans people. After 50 years to launch limited edition Beans Means the Who can.
That's awesome.
Are you into this? Do you want one?
I want to buy one of these cans. I want one of these cans.
Yep. It's pretty great. The Who are marking the release of their new expanded edition of, quote, The Who Sells Out, or The Who Sell Out, and raising money for charities with their Heinz Beans Means the Who cans. So
have you remember that album cover, right? It's got
vaguely.
It's got Townsend using a massive bottle of deodorant under his armpits, and then it's got Daltrey sitting in a bathtub chock full of Heinz beans, Heinz baked beans.
Really?
Yes.
That's foul. Why do I not know that? What's the name of the album?
The Who Sell Out.
The Who Sell. So it is that album. All right.
It's that album. Yep.
I'm pulling it up. Oh, I don't like it.
He's got like beans dripping out of his face and stuff. He apparently was in that. So like the beans, like giant can, but they had to use other cans that apparently were in a fridge, and they dumped these beans into this bathtub, and they're still freezing cold. And he had to sit in that bathtub for who knows how long while they were taking pictures, and he got the flu from it.
Oh, you're kidding, really? He's lucky he didn't get freaking botulism or something out of it.
Botulism and hypothermia.
Oh, that's so gross. I couldn't do it. I don't think I
Which
could
side grosses you out more, though? Pete Townsend's armpit?
Well,
his big old schnoz in his armpit,
Townsend was definitely in better shape then, so I'm not seeing that gnarly gut that he was swapping around. So maybe not so bad. If I was getting the full like hairy maw there, I'd probably have more trouble with it.
Right? Yeah. Fortunately, the giant deodorant stick is blocking the hairy chasm of Pete Townsend's armpit.
Yeah, but this other guy, he's probably got a bean or two made its way up his holy head.
I'm sure you're getting baked Boston, or not Boston, but just baked beans out of every possible orifice.
I do like Boston baked beans. Before I got off the shug, that was one of my favorite little treats.
Oh, I loved Boston baked beans.
A whole handful of those right now. Sounds great.
I can see beans for miles and miles. I can see beans for miles.
I've been shitting them for weeks because I was in it. Here's one from Brazil, a breaking story from Brazil. This is important stuff. Brazil is building a brand new statue of Jesus. You know, they got the big one there, the big Christ the Redeemer thing.
What is that outside of Rio de Janeiro? Christ ascending? No, what is that called?
Christ
the Redeemer.
Christ the
Redeemer.
Right. Yeah, and it's
he's got these coupons. Yeah, and he's got to redeem them.
Yeah, if he doesn't act now, the deal's going away.
Somebody needs to like do coupons in his hands. I see a cartoon coming.
He knows a good deal when he sees it, is what we're saying.
Yeah.
Anyway, they're going to make a new one, and it's bigger than that one. That's crazy to think, because that one's already huge. So a huge statue is under construction. This is another one of Jesus in southern Brazil. It will be even taller than its famous counterpart in Rio de Janeiro, the Christ the Protector statue.
Oh,
yeah, is being built in Encantato, a small town in Brazil's southernmost state, Rio Grande do Sul, by a local organization named Friends of Christ Association, or the AA Cristo. They come fix my car when I get stuck on the freeway.
The Double A Cristo.
Yeah. Made of steel and concrete. It stands 43 meters, 141 feet tall. That is tall. 16 feet taller than the Redeemer one. The organization said the statue will be the third largest statue of Jesus in the world, after a 294-foot statue currently under construction in Mexico and a 172-foot monument in Poland. I didn't know that existed.
Didn't either.
That's crazy. We only think of the Rio
Who's got the biggest Jesus?
Yeah, who's going to have the biggest Jesus and why? Hold on. Poland. Right. I want to see this. Poland Jesus statue.
But the Polish one doesn't have a cool name like Christ.
It's huge though. Oh my gosh.
Oh, is it really? Put a link in.
Here, I'll give you a link, a linky poo in the. I'll put it in the chat and you can click it there. That's just crazy. Here, chat. Well, I'll show you for those who are too lazy. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's just. It depends on the angle.
Christ Almighty!
Yeah, it's big, dude. I didn't know that was down there. He's got a big old gold crown, and
he does. Yeah.
stuff going on there. That's cool.
Wow. All right. They've got the biggest Jesus.
Yep. Oh, there's one where they're working on it. They're putting the head on so you can see the size compared to those tiny people. Oh, my God.
I won't be happy until they animate the arms.
Yeah, no kidding. Look, I'm going to just say, I'm going to say a controversial thing.
Oh, no.
I think this would horrify the actual Jesus. I think he would see this and go, really? Mm-hmm. Like the way I'm just saying, as best we can.
I gave you the shroud. Was that not enough?
From the historical record that we have, he was not big on big fancy displays of anything. Right, like he would look at Catholicism alone and go, "What are you doing? Like what's with the hats and the gold everything? Come on!" Like it just feels like it's just out of the.
Enough already. Enough.
Yeah, it's really stupid to me, but whatever. Whatever.
I do like a lure for real suggestion. Christ the Transformer. That's the statue we need.
Exactly. What does he turn into though? That's important. What's his motor?
He turns into a.
It has to be a car or a jet or
Subaru.
something.
It'll be a Subaru.
A really sensible car.
That's right.
That's good. Although those are too much money now. but it has to be
Subaru Forester. Really, it's going to be a reasonable 2006 Subaru Forester in green.
Right. Well, people. Pope Mobile's not bad. But
not bad.
It's got to be some vehicle. It can't be. Somebody said church. It can't be a church. It has to be a moving. It has to be a vehicle,
like a plane or a train or a car or.
Yeah. I like this idea a whole lot better than what they do now. Because what they do now is just embarrassing. It's like, come on, you guys. How much money are you spending on these statues? Who's it for? Who's it for? What are you doing? What's this for?
Seriously? J.K. Grammer found somebody already made a Christ the Transformer.
Shut up.
Yeah, but it looks like he just turns into like Battle Christ, basically.
Okay. Well, that's not as cool. I want to try.
No, but I want to 3D print this. Where can I 3D print this?
I'm looking at it here. Look at that.
Yeah. It's really, really cool.
Okay. I'm in. Sign me up.
Laura Mann gets points, though, for saying that he turns into a Chrysler.
Oh,
Chrysler.
That's really good.
That's awesome.
That's really good. It's too good. You have to leave the chat room and ascend to a higher plane. That was too good.
That's right. If we had a throne in the chat room, you'd be sitting on it right now.
For sure. Okay. That's it for your news. We're going to take a break. When we come back, my sister Wendy will be here. We've missed her. Haven't had her for a couple of weeks.
We have.
Yeah.
I've forgotten what she sounds like. I hope I can remember what she sounds like.
Well, she's got some advice for a listener who's got some questions. And that's all coming up next, right after this song selection from the vast library of Brian Ibbett.
Yeah, so Indie in the Middle Time, and this one, if you're a fan of like I am of talking songs, you're thinking, what talking songs? What are you talking about? But like One Night in Bangkok is a good example of that. Murray Head, exactly. Yeah. Flash of the Pan, Hey Saint Peter, another good kind of talking song. This is along those same lines, but this one's about a specific place. Specific, as a matter of fact, in the title. It's called 91st Street. Peter Kleinhans sings about the graffiti, the city around 91st Street, and I kind of really dig this. I don't know what it is about it, but I really, really like this. From his album I Was Alive Enough from last year, here's Peter Kleinhans and 91st Street.
It is written, only Link can defeat Ganon. Great, I'll grab my stuff.
Yesterday is history today. Today is tomorrow's history.
You bleed just fine.
Oh, I don't know why I love that so much. He didn't even say this is the morning stream. It's just
you bleed just fine.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, just wow. All right,
right out of that. I don't know how I got that in there, but whatever. I'll take it. Hey, we're back, everybody. Thanks for hanging in there. Oh, the song again, Brian, was...
song again was Peter Kleinhans. The song is called 91st Street from his from his already released album, I Was Alive. Enough.
Oh, well, all right then. Aren't we all? Enough, everybody.
Everyone knows it's Wendy.
After 2 long weeks, you might call it a drought. We finally have the triumphant
windy drought.
Yes, very windy windy drought. It's very windy today. But that's not what I'm talking about. We're talking about Wendy. The drought of Wendy. Wendy Dunford, my sister, who's on the line with us now. Hi, Wendy. How are you?
Hey.
It's been a while. Hey, I got to see Mom on last Sunday. And I don't know if you saw that picture of Mom.
I did. She looks fantastic.
She looks amazing.
I want brain surgery.
Yeah. You know what? I mean, she'll never hear this, and I'll tell her this anyway when I see her. We're going to go up there this weekend. But she is so turned around, like in so many different ways. She lost a bunch of weight in a good way, not like a, surgery destroys your body kind of way, but in a, excess sort of weight kind of way. Her scars are all healing up really well. She looks amazing. She doesn't look 82. And she's moving better than John is. Like, she's getting up. You know how she used to have that thing she had to rock like 5 times to stand up and all that? Not anymore. Yeah. She just gets up. And she was moving all over the place, walking all over the place, laughing, smiling. Gone are her weird, like, I swear to you, the last 12 years, which is about what they say the tumor's life has been, a lot of, like, her, I don't know, insecurities or her whatevers. I think it was this damn tumor. Like this,
I am completely agreeant. Like, I joke about this, but I'm serious. Like, they took out her passive-aggressive gene or something. Like, it's gone.
Yeah, it's gone. It's not there anymore. And that was the thing.
Everyone's got one, right? Maybe all of us have a little tumor we don't know about or something, but it's like a lobotomy in some ways. It's weird.
Yeah, and it's just a crazy transformation, and I didn't expect it. And she's so like sweet and kind to everybody and wants to ask grandkids about what they're doing. And she used to kind of avoid all that and sort of hide over with John in the corner. And I don't know. It's just a weird thing. So anyway, that was pretty rad. And
so everyone, if you have a passive-aggressive mother, get her a brain tumor. And get it taken out.
Yeah, because you can do that electively. You can just give them a brain tumor.
Yeah, just get one and get it taken out. And I mean, it's kind of fascinating brain science-wise, though. I mean, it's pressing on the prefrontal cortex, right, on those front temporal lobes. Mm-hmm. And that is, as people might know if they've ever known anyone whose personality changed after a car accident or damage to that part of the brain. It really is where our personalities kind of lie in some ways, right? And so it's fascinating to have pressure growing on that, and then it's released. It's like, I don't know, but I highly recommend it.
It's pretty cool, and she's got just so much more physicality, and she's just got more energy, and like, I don't know, it's crazy.
It's like a new lease. Whereas she just started to seem old. She seemed her age.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then this was that's exactly right. She's seen her age. She now seems 20 years younger. It's just weird. But anyway, very happy that's happening. And it's good to have you back. Now, we've been holding on to this email like a fine wine.
Only gets better with age.
Yeah. We were supposed to do it last week, but that was my fault because what was going on Thursday? Something happened Thursday.
I don't know, but I have 3 elements.
Oh, Brian had network problems. That's what it was.
So it was me last Thursday.
Yeah.
But I've got like 3 emails just burning a hole in my pocket. So let's
get them out before they cause some
Yeah,
damage.
no new pants is my that's how I get elected. That's my platform. All right.
Wow.
Here's the email we got. There's no names in this. We'll just read it as is. I've always loved your segment and I've never missed it. This was sent to you originally. Okay, now that's out of the way. Jeebus, where to begin? He says, I recently turned 47 and have been out of work since last May. That's almost a year. Lost my job due to COVID and a little bit because of my attitude. I haven't been able to find a new job for a few reasons. I have back issues, degenerative disc disease, along with some poorly mended vertebrae breaks from 15 years ago. These issues cause pain and spasms every day, and I take enough pain meds and muscle relaxers to drop a small horse. Just a small one, though, maybe a pony, he says. I really like the tone of this. Anyway, I can't do the work I have done in the past, like assembly, forklift driving, construction. Not that I'd want to do those things, which is another reason I haven't found a job. I don't feel qualified to do anything or do other than stuff that'll ruin my body. I've wasted this past 10 months and I should have been studying something to find a job. But I've just been thinking that I'm almost 50 and I just can't stand the thought of starting all over again. I have anxiety issues that take 2 meds to curtail. I also have high blood pressure and high cholesterol, so you can imagine the literal handful of medication I have to take every morning. I have a liberal arts associate's degree and certifications in A+ and N+, but those don't get me anywhere because I have no experience in the IT field. I volunteered at my daughter's middle school at the beginning of this year to help set up Chromebooks and hotspots for their students. Let's see, I was hoping that that would help with one of the 2 openings that the district had in their IT departments, but even with the glowing compliments from every IT person, teacher, faculty member, etc., that I dealt with, and even both the vice principal and principal of the school, I didn't even get an interview. I find myself getting more and more depressed, which then makes it harder to even want to go look for a job. I actually had one job I actually liked and gave it up for a large payout and have been kicking myself ever since. For 12 years, I never had a dollar in my pocket, and I'm sick of living week to week, paycheck to paycheck. The only thing I do have is the love of a great woman, my wife, and for the most part, it is the only good thing in my life. Not sure if this is a question or venting session, but whatever it is, I thank you for listening. And that's it. So this sounds like a combination of certain part of your life, physical stuff, and a worldwide pandemic smacking all together at the same time in the middle of a life's intersection. And it sounds like a bummer to me. So what do you want to do with this person? How do you want to approach this?
I just want to read the very last thing that he wrote. He said, "No, I'm not suicidal, but I'm still youngish."
Mm-hmm. Oh, interesting.
AKA, like he's holding on to that as an option if
he's got that in his belt if he needs it.
Yeah. Which is not uncommon, actually. Okay, so let's start with this. Well, and I think first of all, everyone's got to acknowledge the pandemic.
Yeah.
Let's just take that for a minute. So this happened the other day. I don't know if you've been following the news in Minnesota.
A little bit.
But it's rough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's rough. And so we had a curfew on Monday night at 7 p.m. and I had the most, and this is not to trivialize what PTSD is, because it is totally different from this and beyond this, but there is a reaction your body does that's like mini PTSD when things occur sometimes. And I had such a strange mini PTSD reaction to that, to being told I can't leave my house at 7, after 7. And this was it. I was like, I need pajamas. I need so much candy, and I need TV, and I need to make sure we have toilet paper and food. Like, it was as if the whole thing came back.
Right.
The whole, and I've been used to it. It's not like life is just totally normal again. It's not, but it is now a year into being used to some of this. Right. And, but the lockdown and like hearing helicopters and like that happened in, when George Floyd was murdered. And, so it's like a flashback to that moment. And
we're about there, people. Right? May something was the day he was killed.
May 25th.
Things kicked off. Yeah. So.
Yeah. And then just this sort of flashback of the whole thing. And I thought, well, that tells you everything. Clearly I handle it with candy and pajamas and hoarding, I don't know, chicken nuggets or something. Like, it was so reflexive. It was strange.
Yeah.
And it was interesting because I could see it all. But that is like, that could be triggered in a hair's second for someone who has spent a lot of time talking about this. Like, right. This is every conversation with every client and tons of people I communicate with about what this has been like for us. So I've been thinking about it a lot, but it doesn't matter when your body goes, oh yeah, remember how terrible that feeling is? Here it is again. Just let me remind you. Now, again, I am not minimizing everyone else's pain. This is just my dumb little corner of the world, and realizing like the underappreciated impact the pandemic has had on people. Because I think there's obvious cases, right, where we can say, oh, well, that person lost a loved one, so of course their life is forever changed.
Right.
But even for many of us who haven't lost a loved one or you could kind of do your thing, or you just liked working from home. It wasn't too bad. There are still impacts that maybe you haven't recognized. And that is going on here with this emailer. And I don't know, I guess I find it helpful to always chunk that, like, pandemic effect. Here it is, and identify it and recognize it has made everything harder. Well, it's been a catalyst for things, right? If there's a crack in your relationship, it's going to make that crack grow bigger and faster.
Right.
If there's trouble in your work environment, it's going to create, like, all these companies meeting on Zoom every day and not having body language anymore. If there was already trouble, that trouble has quadrupled, right? So you can see that this is this underlying current that needs to be acknowledged as part of his story. So that said, maybe he hasn't thought through that with somebody else, because we tend to just experience what we experience and sit with it ourselves. And then our brain makes up whatever idea it wants to make up about it. So there's one chunk. Then we've got this, and how it's impacting, of course, the job market or the way he thinks about his prospects. Plus, we've got the history with his work life. So here we are, hitting a little bit of the middle of life, and he's already got some health problems that at 50 is not a good sign for the rest of his life, right? Mm-hmm. So we got a health chunk, we've got a job chunk. Sounds like the best thing he's got going for him is his family, which is awesome, which is a great place to start, right? Okay, so we can talk about what to do from here, but I just want to quick ask the two of you. Have you wasted the last 10 months? No, just this idea.
I'm making sourdough like a pro.
Right, because that's what's kind of tricky, right? Is everyone feels like they just missed this window, but maybe don't realize that all of us had low-key depression that entire time as well, right? So someone posting that they've learned a new language while in quarantine, or started their business, you're gonna need to ignore them.
I mean, I do feel like the last we say 10 months. Come on, I mean, it's been a year plus, really, 14. Since and it's really been probably more than I really am realizing, right? As far as how it's affecting my mood, how it's affecting my life. I think I've probably been crankier lately, saltier probably, but and it's probably just like, I had all this time that was forced to stay home and not do anything and not travel. Why didn't I take advantage of picking up a new skill? Yeah, that wasn't miniature painting or sourdough.
Something you're already
baking.
into, yeah.
Yeah. Or the New York Times crossword.
Well, I mean, you're no short. Brian is never short on cool hobbies and stuff. But I know what you're saying. There's still this feeling of like, I don't know. I feel like I got all the minimums done, but there's still a part of me that when the minimums weren't when that was getting done, it was getting done, and then I was done, and then I was having to face this stuff down, and facing it down often meant park myself on the couch with the dog and ignore the world, like. And that doesn't necessarily feel like time wasted. It just feels like unfortunate time spent, I guess.
Right, because it's a different kind of reward for that, right? It's being on the couch probably helps your psyche more than, I'm going to really quickly take a class on After Effects or something like that.
Yeah.
But you're doing better for your psyche by going hanging out on the couch with the dog.
And I have massive respect.
You're pointing out something really quick that's neurologically helpful to understand, is that we don't learn new things when we're in a trauma state.
Yeah.
So this is all the luxury of hindsight, as if time happened and nothing was going on.
Right.
It was going on. There were really literally days where I could not believe America was America, right? And there were days where, if you really listened to what people were going through, like really heard the pain, like it's collective trauma throughout the globe, like that, you can't learn a new skill during that. That was very clear to me in real life when we moved to Sweden and I was taking Swedish classes, and I'm there with all these refugees who had just recently been able to get into the country and have been through horrific things, and teachers are trying to teach them. And I had conversations with them about, they're just staring at me. They're not absorbing it. And I'm like, because a traumatized brain doesn't learn. And there's a reason it doesn't learn. And this is what's so, I won't get on my soapbox about kids being in dangerous and neglected and insecure situations, because they can't learn. And now you have a lifetime of that disadvantage, right? So, but this idea of like, we're so hard on ourselves if we aren't doing or accomplishing, or how we measure ourselves. And that's what I really want us to get to with this guy, is if you notice what he's saying, he's 47 years old. I rechecked his age. He says he's almost 50, but come on, dude, stick with 47 for a little while.
Enjoy it.
Hang on to that, right? Dig your fingernails into the edge of that cliff for as long as you can.
That's right. And just having the like storyline that how he understands his life. I mean, our brain will pick the story that makes sense to us and also protects us. So he is listing all the ways he's not okay and doesn't know what to do. And it sounds like, and this is true for all of us, something outside of him is supposed to tell him he's okay, right? Like if we compared him to another 47-year-old who's got all the things he doesn't have, but has a terrible marriage and his kids hate his guts, I'm going to guarantee he'll pick his life over that person's, right? So it's the story and the negativity bias that tends to sort of surface here. And so that, and my example with the pandemic is the same thing. Our brain goes, well, what have you been doing? Rather than, like Brian, you were saying, like sitting on the couch was therapeutic. So a little mini re-trauma for me in my dumb, easy life is that I need candy in my pajamas and I'm going to watch, TV all night. Like that is a protective response that we have a tendency to maybe not quite listen to ourselves or what we need. And physical health is a big one here. So it sounds like at 47 years old, he is not well physically, right?
Yeah, got stuff going on.
And that story, and maybe it's been this way for a while, maybe, it got to this point. You don't sort of have all of these issues. I mean, obviously he has this degenerative disc disease in his back. There's nothing he could have done about that. And that probably has snowballed into lots of different other things. But is there a different story about his health he can learn to listen to or write? Which is kind of the theme I'm getting at here, right? Which is the story you tell yourself. So let's make you guys give us an example. What is a story that you tell yourself that feels really true, but someone in your life is always like maybe bumping up against it, or like, nah, come on, or it just doesn't quite fit, but man, your brain loves that story.
Oh man.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
There are like so many.
There's so
many.
many.
And I could give you like a theme might be victimhood, right? The story that you're the victim of something, that's one we can all understand. And when we're in it, man, does it feel good? That it's tasty.
There was me leaving what was a full-time job that I then said I'm going to do part-time to focus on podcasting back in 2009, I believe it was. And then the company did have to let me go just because of money coming in. They're like, well, Brian's only part-time. We can get rid of him and 3 trainers or whatever. But I really play up the victim as like, I was probably ready to go out of that thing anyway. But
yeah.
But I never bring that part up. It's like, oh, I can't believe I got fired from that job. It sucks. But I mean, is that kind of
totally.
Okay.
And let me give you the kind of core reason for that is we all have our ego.
Sure.
And
it's much better to say that it was their fault than it was me leaving. Yes.
And one way to think about this, and I'm going to give everyone a different word here, which is that we process information in a different part of our brain when our ego is in charge. So it's a type of processing, and not simply like, oh, I got a big ego or my ego is in the way, but we actually, like in a brain scan, we can see essentially where the ego lives and how it processes. And what's fascinating about it is it's very medial to the brain. Like, You can see the lighting up is all sort of in the front and down the middle. And then when someone's in a creative or flow state or something like that, the brain lights up on the sides of the brain, or the activity lights up over there, which is so interesting, right? So it's self-referential processing, essentially what it is. It's like, how does this impact me? Me. And people have experienced this where you are stuck in self-referential. Everything is about you, and you don't think that's what's happening, but you can tell because you're offended easily. Everyone's crap is about you. And it's really hard for you to see it in any other kind of perspective, right? Mm-hmm. So when our ego gets pinched a little, it's because we're processing in a way that, how is that connected to me? But what's fascinating, right, Brian, your story, just flip it. Like, what a gift, right? It was the gift.
And I do flip it when it suits me, right? Like,
yeah, that's the trick.
I use that story for my bravest moment. Like, I decided to just take the leap and jump into podcasting and leave this job I'd been at for 12 years or whatever. By the way, that company folded a long time ago.
Yeah, they're not there anymore.
Shortly after I left.
Yeah. Part of the story, man.
Yeah, part of the story. And again, there we go. I'll use that story, but I'm never using that in the victim version of the story.
Sure. Right. I mean, this is funny. So I was trying to think of this as well. And there are too many stories like this, but to be sort of consistent with what we're talking about today and the timeline we're talking about, there's a couple, I'm not going to use names, obviously. There's a couple I know who, when the pandemic happened and during their early months of it and all of this, they were stoically like, we're not letting this bother us or stop us. We're doing whatever we can. We're going to be great. And they started all this workout stuff, and they were going to be better shape than anybody, and their diets were better than anybody, and they were going to do all this. And they started taking trips to Hawaii and doing all these things, vaccinated or not. It was just like, let's go. We're holding life by the tail. No one can tell us what to do. And on the outside, it was like, man, we're all trying over here and you're not at all. And part of me's mad at you for that, but part of me's also jealous you're going to Hawaii this week. And, these mixed feelings of like watching this happen until, I hope they're not listening, or until about 2-3 weeks ago, find out that they are bitterly separated and getting a divorce. And nobody knew this was going on. Like, this was all, it was hidden neatly under the veneer of the social media and the whatever.
Not so green on that side of the fence.
Yeah. And I will admit, not proudly, but will admit, I took some comfort in that. I went, well, that's what you get for not being as careful as we've been. You guys really screwed over. I like kind of
it's kind of a weird parallel to the doth protest too much thing that
a little bit
you like, right? Yeah,
a little bit. Like when people
showing off how happy they are and how perfect their life is, and under the veneer of Wisteria Lane, there's lava and farts.
It's almost always true.
I tell every last listener here, if you are writing on Facebook how much you love your partner, there are thousands of therapists that see right through that. So just don't do it.
Shit,
Send
Tina
a private
put that on
message.
her feed like not long ago.
Yeah, I don't do Facebook, so that doesn't matter to me. But like, it's so obvious. Holy cow, we all see it. So just say it privately and make it real. That should be the thing. Yeah. Scott, you're pointing out something important, which is we are human. So as humans, we are social creatures. We need to know that we are approved of or loved or accepted or belong. And it's important, right? Yeah. And also like, what am I doing is right or wrong? And so I'm looking at this guy and I'm listening to all the things he lists as his problems. Like, for example, he does this awesome work for his daughter's school and everybody loves him. And he doesn't even get an interview. We have no idea why. He probably doesn't have any idea why. And the story, though, because we got to understand why we're in pain. That's what we do. We make up stories. We need to understand things, but we're pretty terrible at the actual truth. Now, if we could get someone to say, you know what? We didn't even give you an interview because everyone was lying to your face. We actually think you were terrible. Well, okay. Well, that would explain things, but man, that'd be painful. Mm-hmm. Or maybe it's that this guy was already in line for this next bit and it was a logical fit. Sorry. There's some explanation that no matter kind of what you do here from the outside, if we are always self-referential processing, then we are only going to see it as how it hurts us, how it serves us, etc.
Yeah.
Now, there's a gamut here, right? There are people on the extreme where they don't do enough self-referential processing probably to be healthy, and then others who can almost get just stuck. And a place that's very common to be stuck in that type of processing is depression, addiction, all of those types of things where it's kind of like the rest of the world doesn't really exist, unless it's completely related to how you are feeling that minute and what you are doing, right? So if you're in one of those positions, and I don't think this guy is, I just think he's in the sucks to be me self-referential processing moment right now. And the key here is to get out of it. And so a couple things. So you're in the middle of your life. You have not had $1 in your pocket. You've been paycheck to paycheck. So why? And what can we do about that, right? The job loss, the great relationship, like there's all sorts of things going on here in this. It's very thorough. So I appreciate the thoroughness. But finding out what he perpetually does that keeps him in these states. I'm going to guess anxiety, because he did mention that, right?
Yeah, he did.
That anxiety,
and he's on some meds for it too, I guess. Some meds.
Yeah. Well, because the anxiety at its core. So if you want to sort of, I don't do a hierarchy of needs here. I would go, of course, I'm a hammer. I'm a nail with a hammer, right? But I would go for the anxiety first, because what anxiety is and does is it's a form of hijacking stories, right? So it's really hard to find what's the closest to the truth, or the one that's going to make you feel better, or is it you're just doing it for your ego or whatever? Like you don't know, because you've got this thing coming in, stealing the story and changing the story all the time. So to tackle your anxiety would be a really smart beginning spot.
Yeah.
And to get a sense of that. And then we move on to sort of what are these other things that you've done for so long, that here's this weird chance. You are halfway through your life. You can keep doing it like you've always done it, or you can do it totally different. And that's what's tricky, because if the story is this and the story is true, this is your chance to rebuild your life in a totally different way. It's going to look different. You don't have the luxury of a perfectly formed back and 20-year-old knees. So you have to be flexible to some extent, but there is a version of a whole step next life that you can get to. That's why we kind of make fun of midlife crises. We're just like, oh, well, you got a new sports car. Well, people do weird versions of this all the time, and we can now make a joke about it. But what is where do you want to go? Like, some of this is just right before you. It's like you're 20 again, but you're not dumb. And that's the difference. But you got to be careful, because that not being dumb is can be a very strong hindrance to taking some risks, because you're old enough to know some things.
Yeah.
And this is hard. I mean, I'm saying some of this, just like briefly and quickly, but he's got to figure out what's held him back, and see what we can do about that, and then figure out where to put some energy to do his life a little differently in the future. He's not so far off as he thinks.
No,
that's
I agree.
What's frustrating.
I agree with that. I was going to say too, and this is maybe a whole separate topic, but I feel like it ties in a little bit. I was just reading some numbers on short-term and long-term economic stuff based on, impact of the pandemic and everything. And spending is up. Like, the retail market is up way higher than anyone thought it would be. The stimulus checks, they can show a direct result there, like all that kind of stuff. And it occurred to me that what happened is everyone had kind of a not midlife crisis, but a mid-pandemic crisis maybe, where they went, well, who knows what the future is? I'm spending it now on the thing I want. So I'm going to get my giant TV, or I'm going to buy that car finally, or I'm going to, I don't know, take that trip to Mexico, or whatever it is. People did it in such a way that now the supply chain's all effed up, because nobody can get chips, and nobody can get everything's all fouled up in the supply chains for different kinds of products around the world. And it's a very consumerist point of view, but I think a lot of people after a year were like, screw it. I'm just going to splurge on this thing because who knows what the next pandemic who knows what the next horrible thing is or whatever. It's not, this is all ephemeral anyway. Let's spend it and have some fun. Like that, I think kind of happened. And everybody didn't squirrel it away and put it in the bank and hold on to it and earn interest on it. Nobody did that. They just said, all right, I'm buying that four-wheeler because who knows if I'll ever get to do that again, kind of feeling. And I don't know if that has anything to do with this, but it feels midlifey on a grander scale,
Mm-hmm.
Wendy, we lose you? Oh,
yeah. His financial woes won't be fixed with what you just described.
No, not at all. not at all.
Do
but
that.
Yeah,
right.
don't
While
do that
you're waiting
at all.
for that job,
Yeah.
spend like there's no tomorrow.
And my point is nobody should be. My opinion is nobody should be doing that. We should all be careful and more conservative with spending and things like that. But people didn't. It's just a weird phenomenon. Like I feel like there was this old wisdom that when things got weird, people tightened up. That didn't happen this time. People spent.
It would if it were longer term and
Maybe,
it affected
maybe.
more people.
Yeah.
Like this has not been a financial crisis for, like always, we're in the same storm but not the same boat.
Right. I wanted to make that point clear as well. There's plenty of people who that I'm absolutely not talking about. Like these are all just numbers, and then when you start to apply them to people, you realize, oh well, once again, we're looking at a certain. Here's privilege A through Z, and here's unprivileged A through Z, and here's all the reasons why these people had less money and were kicked out of their, their rent was killed or whatever. Like all that stuff. Obviously, it's more nuanced than that, but it was an unusual thing because normally you can count on 9/11 happened and everybody stopped spending money. Like it got real quiet for a while, everybody, and then this happened, and I just feel like people are like, I'm doing it. Plus, there's more outlets for doing it.
A lot of people stopped spending. For sure they did. But I think there was a shift at some point. Because, and again, like unlike any other tragedy or challenge I think any of us have ever faced, it's everyone. I mean, people's relationships have been rocked through this, right? Like, so even if like you didn't lose your job or get sick yourself or something, right? Like, it's touched everyone. I also think the sort of long slog of it, unlike something else where I can go out and, collect things and donate blood and there's actionable things. Our actions was to sit on our couch and not go somewhere to be helpful. Right. Like, it's not like I got all that candy the other night and felt good. I felt awful. Like, turns out I've broken my candy habit and it made me sick. And I was like, this isn't working.
Yeah.
But what are our strategies? And if this guy maps out his life and answers that question, what are my strategies? What do I use to feel better? And usually it's going to be a list of escapes, right? That's a very common one. Or how do I spend my time? Like if we take a really honest look at ourselves, and how we spend our time and where our money is, right? Can say a lot about what we really think as well, or where our energy or time goes. And just like a real honest assessment. And you've got another 40 years to go, 30 years to go. I don't know. The life expectancy just went down, right? 30 years to go. What do you want it to feel like or look like? And here's what I really want him to do. I really want him to engage his wife in this discussion. And this may be tricky because she's probably been dealing with his feeling crappy for a while here. Yeah. And she's maybe carrying the family resources, the family income or whatever. And so it may be a little tricky to be like, hey, hun, let's plan big for the next half of my life, and she's just like, shut up, I have to go to work, So
yeah, and he's in the chat, by the way, today, and he's been mentioning here and there about how just awesome she's been. They don't fight. They don't have
rock. Yeah,
she sounds like she's
fantastic. Yeah. So I want you to connect with her in this way, where there's this conversation about what would you like, what do we want the next half of our life to be like together, right? So I've maybe mentioned this on the show before, but I stole this idea from Esther Perel, she's like a famous
she invented Perel, the hand sanitizer.
Totally. So she's made a bundle on this pandemic. No, I'm just kidding. So she has this idea, and I really like it, and I think it's been really helpful for my clients to think about your marriage in 3 acts. Well, there are 3 marriages. Sometimes you have that marriage with the same person, but there are 3. And the first one is that very young new one where that's the dumb stage, right? And you're learning, and maybe you have a couple kids, or you're trying to build a life, and sometimes that does not work out. That's a very common first marriage to end kind of thing. And then the second marriage is sort of the nightmare teenage land. I'm in the second marriage, by the way. And then and that's if you have children. If you don't, it's similar in that, like, this is the midlife starts to creep into this one. This is the time you're supposed to be making your money and squirreling it away, right? Like, there's all the pressures and the adulting that's so flippin' hard happens in this second marriage. And then sometimes people don't make this one either. And then the third marriage is, this guy and his wife are entering the edge of, which is, this third round of, and often that includes retirement or these older years and right. And so if you think about, hey, pretty lucky to have someone through all 3 marriages, but regardless, each block needs to almost be treated like a second or a separate marriage, because you got to recreate again what you want in this life. Right. So if those 2 met today, what would they want to do and build into their life? Right.
Oh, that's a really interesting way to look at it.
Yeah, because you get used to each other's flaws, and they're just built in, and they just kind of happen. But those things will pull people apart slowly over time. So we have a couple high divorce rates. We've got the 7-year itch is legitimately a thing, and that's that first marriage kind of ending. And
is that what that stands for? I've never seen the movie that's called that, and I never knew what it meant. Yeah. That's what that is? You're 70 years in, you're like, oh, man.
Yeah, and I've heard that that's even like a misnomer, that it's really like the 3-year itch or something.
Yeah, and it depends, because time has sped up a lot with some of these things. Yeah. So I would say it's actually a 9-year itch is more common. 7 to 9 is and it really depends on when you either bring a kid in, or you start making some you get a mortgage or something, stuff that starts to add strain. So it can be as early as 3 years and about 9. Anyway, and then the second highest divorce rate tends to be when the kids leave home. So that's that second marriage, sort of like, we didn't really take care of each other during this, and now the kids are gone and we've got nothing. That's pretty common. And we do it for the kids, Yeah. And then that third marriage, it can, retirement is like the third highest, when people are like, I don't even like you, bye. So, it's like deciding you want to make your third marriage what you want to make it. So sit down with her and get really honest. These are going to be some hard conversations. And
I don't really even like you, bye. I can't get that out of my head. That is a funny way to I can't imagine, I'm sure this has happened to somebody, but the end of your long, arduous child rearing years, and you got to the end and you're like, I don't even like you, bye. I can't picture it. All right, sorry, I didn't mean to.
They just have separate floors on a house. That's usually
right. Separate bedrooms, yeah.
Separate bedrooms. Okay, so yeah, sit down with her, start having some really hard conversations. What does this look like? Instead of still holding on to what you're supposed to be doing, because that is a big part of this storyline that I'm reading, is that here's all the supposed to's. And I get it. Yeah. You'll talk to your neighbor or your friend. They have the same supposed to list. It's hard to find someone who's going to go, oh, hold on.
Yeah.
This is where you should be having your llama farm. And you'll be like, what? I mean, you don't meet that guy. That guy's not going to come around and talk to you. It's going to be the one that says, look like my life. Do what I do, right? And this is what's cool about this age, and this guy needs to really embrace this, is to stop caring what other people think, and figure out what you really want. And then the stuff that's in your way of getting that, deal with it. So I would assume that's anxiety. I would assume that's this financial stress. And this isn't flippant or short, right? But it's the hard work of deciding what your second half of your life is going to be like, versus the easy way is consumerism, actually, going back to your point.
Yeah.
The easy way, because think about it, you get an Amazon package, you don't remember what you bought, but you get a little high, right?
You get a little buzz. It's
buy
great.
a big car.
Yeah, for sure.
So it makes sense. It's just shortcut brain treatment as opposed to long-term surgery, which requires a lot more a deeper look and to figure out what some of these things are. We are comfortable even in our dysfunction, even when we don't like the things, we're comfortable. And so that's really tricky to start to dig into that and figure out what those are. So hopefully that's helpful. I mean, I think it's exciting, and I know that people are like, oh, that's weird. Like, it sounds like it's rough. I'm like, it is rough, but the rougher it is, the bigger the motivation or the jump could be, and it can be awesome.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
but you got to do the work, or you're not going to get there. And that's what's tricky, is we want that to happen to us, not for us to do all our dig deeping and figuring out what we really want. We just want to feel normal like the neighbor and go to Hawaii.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But then when you strip it all down, do you?
Lava and farts.
Yeah, you don't necessarily. Now they're in the thick of a really nasty divorce, and I don't want to do that. And I'm trying not to get satisfaction out of it. You know what I'm saying? Like,
you're trying to be generous.
I'm trying to be nice. I don't want anyone to go through that. But part of me is like, well, that's what you get. Yeah, jerks, which is a whole nother aspect of the pandemic that I don't like, which is, if somebody goes away we don't like now, it's easy to just sort of condemn them and shove them on their way, and I'm trying to do less of that. So anyway, a few people deserve it, but they're usually in public.
You're not going to let everyone get away with it.
No, not everyone. All right. Well, this has, I think, been great, and a fine return to form here for the segment since we've missed it for 2 weeks. But don't worry, everybody. We'll be back next time with more, and we definitely have more emails. So we'll keep pushing
keep them
these
coming. Out. We like to be picky sometimes, and it's hard to be picky when there's only one.
That's right. Sometimes you guys get embarrassed or nervous, so you don't want to talk about it. You don't have to use your name. You can be totally anonymous, like today. And we'll treat it like we would any anonymous person, and not out you. We will not dox you, is what I'm saying. All right, Wendy, have a fantastic week. Our best to the all the children. realsteps.org. Anything going on we should mention real quick?
Yes. Except it's not quite ready, but it will be. We're going to start taking registrations this coming, hopefully, weekend.
Well,
I will send an email out to people, and I will not abuse your email. But we start May 1st. It's going to be great. This is so cute. Cool. I hadn't realized this, but we have a Discord channel for everyone who's done it before. And I have been lazy and haven't looked at it. And they've been holding their own Monday night meetings.
Whoa.
Wow.
It's
That's
really
awesome.
cute because they miss
very
each other and just are checking in and keeping each other happy. So it's a really great group. So if anybody is interested, go read about it. realsteps.org, and we start our May round.
You got to go in there once in a while, make sure they haven't chosen a leader or decided who's going to kill Piggy. You got to keep an eye on that. You never know. Wendy, we'll talk to you next week. Have a fantastic week, and we'll see you then.
Thanks.
Bye.
Thanks.
May your state not be in lockdown over riots anymore. Really, mainly, can your police people quit shooting people?
Yeah, just being right. Exactly.
Maybe just less of that would probably help a little bit, I think.
No kidding.
All right. That's it for the show. There was something I was going to tell everyone about that I forgot. What was it? Shoot. That's why you write this shit down, and I didn't write it down, so I don't know it now. Crap. All right. Well, whatever it was, I'm sure it was great. Oh, tonight there is a core episode. That's not the thing, but tonight, if you want to watch us talk video games in a very broad way, then check out Core. That's what me and Bo and John do. And there's a lot to talk about, so check that out this evening at 5 p.m. Mountain Time, live here on Twitch, or you can catch the podcast after. Rock Runner's still going strong. I know what it was. There's a new Fred and Can coming up today that is specifically about, well, it gives a little hard time to Zack Snyder and his big cut. Okay, that's all I'm saying there. So check that out. Coming up right after the show, I'll be putting that together. I'll send it out in a newsletter with some other stuff, and you'll have access to that. If you're not already on the newsletter and would like to get it sent directly to you, then you can do that as well. Go to frogpants.club and sign up today. Brian, anything else you got going on over there before we leave today?
Just doing Coverville later and playing some Marvel Avengers while music's playing for Coverville between during the sets.
Nice.
Because it's the only time I get to play that game.
How's that going? Is that it had a huge drop off?
I'm enjoying it. You know, I'm and I don't have any issues with the fact that the characters don't look like the MCU versions, just because it's, you know, I've been seeing versions of Marvel heroes for my entire life. So
yeah, if you're a reader of the comics, none of this is a big deal.
It's like, it really doesn't matter. Yeah. And if you've been thinking about buying it, damn, now's the time. It's like $25 online. So, and
there's like a 90% chance that if you play online, you'll end up with Brian, because not enough people are playing it right now. So
I'm not doing any of the multiplayer crap. I'm not a multiplayer in this kind of campaign stuff.
Gotcha.
I'm going to get through the campaign. I'm going to unlock some characters, and I'm going to be done.
There you go. That's what they always say. Until they get you, they get you.
Until they get you. That's right.
Until they get you. All right. A reminder that, what else? Oh, patreon.com/TMS is how you can support this show. You can do it for as little as $1 a month. We are at the halfway point of the month. Still time to get in and get daily content that is only available to you if you sign up, as well as other cool stuff. There will be a play date later this month, for example, and all that. So watch for more as we move forward in time. Frogpants.com/TMS for everything else. And now a song to go out on with Brian Ibbett.
Right. I can do that. Brian wrote in, not me, but another Brian.
Oh,
said it's that time of year again, Brian, where I ask you and the rest of TMS to join me in celebrating the anniversary of leaving behind the corporate shackles and joining the ranks of public employment. And while I have now worked from home for longer than I have in the office, it still seems right to mark the day by requesting a cover of another Iron Maiden song. If you can't find an appropriate cover of my song choice, any Iron Maiden song will suffice. Still love the show, though. Hey, Scott, how about a booby?
Oh, it's been a while. Hold on.
It has been a while.
Booby. Well,
takes on a new context now that she's a new mom.
Right, because that's what the baby says every day. How about a booby?
She says to the baby I guess, yeah, the baby could say it to her too.
All right, here we go. Found it.
How about a booby?
There you go. Well done, Veronica, mother of one.
When she used to do video game reviews on this show. Amazing. Yep. Amazing times.
Yep.
All right, so how about a cover of Iron Maiden? This is Iron Maiden's Hallowed Be Thy Name, covered by Doogie White. Doogie White is lead singer. He was with Richie Blackmore's Rainbow for a while. He actually auditioned to be a touring vocalist for Iron Maiden. So he's got some Iron Maiden connections right there. This is from a collection called Voices of British Heavy Metal from 2010. Here is Doogie White and Hallowed Be Thy Name.
See you guys on Monday, except for you lucky few who are patrons and get TMS PM tomorrow.
Yeah.
We'll see you then.
This show is part of the Frog Pants Network. Frog Pants Network. Get more shows like this at frogpants.com.
Ah!
Jeez. That file's titled Army Man. I didn't know it was going to just be Lee Army or Lee Ermey yelling.
Oh.